Welcome to Beyond the Box.
Our guests are insiders that are now out and on our side, dropping nuclear intel and breaking it down just for you.
And now it's time to introduce our hosts, Brenda Lankridge and Suzanne Haunt. Join us and subscribe for weekly shows. Beyond the Box begins now. Let's jump in.
Oh, hello everybody. I woke up not feeling so hot today. So, hi Susie.
Hey Brenda. I'm a little more perky today. Okay, but I have to get up at 6:30 in the morning, and I don't do mornings. Okay.
Right? I don't either. I don't do mornings. Lately here, I haven't been doing nights either.
Afternoons or nights or anything, right?
I've been doing so much going without sleep that I think it's finally catching up to me. And it's like, hey, stupid, we'll just make you sick so you lay down. I'm like, oh no.
Your body's like, you need your rest.
Yeah, my body said, you better go to bed. So tonight, after the show, I will not be staying up. I will save
you will crash
for tomorrow. Yes, I'm going to crash. That is an absolute must. So we got Doug's back with us tonight.
Right. Yeah, we love Doug.
Mark and have Mark come on too. I sent him the email. I sent him an email. We're trying to get a hold of him to come on for a little bit tonight. I know he doesn't like to do things too late at night, but I moved everything up an hour, so he might be okay with that.
Yeah.
Or it could be like last time, he fell asleep on us on the phone.
Because he's over there in the New Jersey area, so they have a different, they're later. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But, so by the
way, Roger's doing good. You know, he's actually starting to do a little bit of work, everybody. So just want to throw that out there. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm telling you, I still think you should have got every bit of that recorded.
Oh, it would have been great. Because he doesn't remember any of it.
Including him walking into the store with a hospital gown on, with his butt hanging out, no shoes on, looking like Jesus returned and hit a few asteroids on the way down with his arm in a sling.
Yeah. His face all swollen up, and he had his long hair and his bare feet and his, oh my God, dress. And
so I found out today, not only do we have the fires in Wyoming and everything else that's going on with the flooding, but Acapulco, Mexico, apparently it got hit with the Cat 5 before it went on to Florida. Tore that place up. I see the video. It is a mess. So of course, we're not hearing about any of this stuff. It took 2 days to hear about the fires in Wyoming. So, all I can say is our news editing people or our news people fired.
Fire, hurricane, tornadoes.
Yeah.
And it's all right before the election, like right up close.
Course.
Just upheaval. Everybody's life is, in a disaster zone, right? God.
I liked the answer yesterday that Norma gave, or Denise gave, one of the two. I think it was Norma. Denise had asked, knowing about the lithium and stuff there in North Carolina, but what does Florida have? And I believe
what though? Brenda,
Norma
I
said
saw.
they're full of Republicans. That's what Florida has.
But you know what I saw, Brenda? I saw in the news. It looked like literal demons in the storm. So I know all this stuff is what it is, but they say whatever, and
I think it's
it
both.
could
I
be,
think
but yeah, I think
they're
it's a
pushing
spiritual thing.
the demons
Yes.
towards there. I think it's both. I think they're using the modification to push what they're conjuring up through there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we know I mean this is so demonic. What's happening.
And it's
And did
so
you see that
funny.
one lady that was praying and she stopped the
Yes.
tornado? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've seen that.
That was pretty cool.
But what's funny about it is, you would think people would see it's one thing right after another thing, right after another thing, right after another thing, right before the election. They've had all year to come up with all this stuff. Oh, no, we're going to wait a month before and boom, let them have it. But still, people are not, it's not clicking. It's not clicking. It's not clicking. I think we need to get psychiatrists out to everybody.
And you know what I think is pretty cool is that because I kind of come in late yesterday on the show, and I heard Penny talking about Kennedy, and what I think is cool though is Kennedy is now joining with Trump. I mean, he's supporting Trump.
I was going to mention that last night, but I
didn't get to that.
Yeah, it floated in one end of my brain and like kind of out the other.
So yeah, I really like him. He found Christ, and he is really sincere. You can tell, you could hear it in his demeanor and everything. The man, I can see why everybody really, really likes him. And there's something special about those Kennedys, Brenda. It's just
Yeah,
it just is.
But
it's the devil really goes after the Kennedys, always has, because the Kennedys are special. I'm just saying, not all of them, have a perfect track record, but there's no question they are special people. So just had to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, seeing you missed a few days, go ahead and give us our prayer because.
All right. I just want to pray.
Be quiet for a minute.
I want to pray for our protection and our health and guidance and everything, and for us, for Doug, for Mark, for our guests, for all of those who are in need of that, as for everybody listening and everybody out there that isn't listening that needs that prayer too. But all those evil people, what I say is whatever their ill intent or evil thoughts are, may it be returned to sender in the mighty name of Jesus. And that's my prayer.
There you go. All right, let me go ahead and grab Doug and bring Doug out here. There he is.
Hi, Doug.
Oh, no. Sorry, I'm so unprepared, but we can do it off the cuff, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. We like it off the cuff.
No prompts.
No prompts. Everybody sticks with us. They all like you anyways, Doug. They like hearing what all you have to say, so we're all good.
It's a crazy world out there nowadays, isn't it?
Wow.
Yes.
I think it's beyond crazy.
Right.
The Joker has jumped ship. Okay.
I knew they were gonna, once they framed me in the bait. What they did with me was like a form of satanic ritual abuse. So they would take me as the Christian American, God-loving, fearing guy with a gift with the animals, and then they would give me the pain, and their people would get all the glory and the money and all of that. Like the last place I was at, they teased the stallion I have. Have you ever had a teasing stallion, Susie?
Yeah. I have a little miniature who is like that. Yeah, he teases all the mares.
But I mean, they get crazy.
Yes.
And that was a horse I was showing people so I could, live and save my life and save my kid. And they teased him for a couple of weeks, then threw me off. And on the day they threw me off, they had a Bibles and Bridles club there. So it was a free clinic, but they're hallelujah, Jesus, do it like this. And it was the exact thing I asked when I came home. And this guy federally gets paid for abused children. That's how he makes his money. The neighbor next on the same place, property in a trailer, is the lawyer for kids. The wife was brother is a sheriff, and she's the foster care program. And so I thought, oh, I had a team where I could save my kid and everything. I couldn't understand why I was having no business and being starved out. The other part of it that's really important is the guy's best friend is a guy who Kobe, I think his name is. I've got a picture of him, and it looks identical to a federal prosecutor appointed by Trump that disappeared off the screen. He'd show up in military fatigues, and he's a United States federal prosecutor, the Department of Justice against military crimes on U.S. soil. So I'm thinking they're going to do something, this and that. Instead, they throw me out and have everything I wanted to do, take my program and show it to everyone with the words of Jesus. And they're all the big Christians. And I mean, you can't get more demonic than that. Spiteful, just blatant and spiteful, to the point where like the police won't even help me if they do something. It's pretty ugly. So the biggest thing is people don't understand how I got in that position, which we were talking before about the linear events. So I don't know where you guys want to go with it. I just thought I'd give you a little update. So.
Well, you can actually start talking about, well, first of all, what I'd like to know is, how have you been? What have you been up to? How are things going? I mean, we haven't talked to you for a while, and
I had to move, and
good.
And I got that horse is that Charo I've been doing the series with, so people can watch me take, a horse that was rank to begin with and go all the way through, get a big following with him. People are really following, and I've been working him a month, twice a day, to try to get his brain back together. It's only been the last 3 days he's actually starting to work again.
I think I seen a video. You posted a video on your Facebook. Yeah. If that's the same horse, that's a good looking horse.
It's the Red Arab. He's an Arabian. Yeah. He's going to be talented, but he was a teasing stallion, dangerous. And then I tried to, train him. Last thing you do is tease him with mares, and they teased him intentionally for a good 2-3 weeks straight.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Like I did a clinic and everything was good. And I'm like, all right, I can get business going, and, everyone, and they pull that crap. And that all goes to Joe Jones, who his wife worked under the White House, I'm assuming, for Clinton's. So it's all connected to the same fist from my homecoming handled by Department of State Hillary Clinton's office, the people in Baker that have had their eyes on my kid since she's been born. I mean, it's, it's ugly and it's scary because it goes so, where do you turn? You can't go to the FBI. You can't go to the Department of Justice. You can't go to the sheriffs. I mean, it's just bad. I mean, there's nowhere safe to go.
Doug, is your area very inundated with a lot of these people? Because it seems like it's like a hotbed of certain type people there that are.
Well, the horse mafia is pretty much so. When I was in France during rendition, they put me up as a farmer. I had a 3% tax bracket, and I was told everyone gets their kingdom, Doug. So that was my area. In that area, I would have prospered. I would have been going to the big horse shows. I would have been the big star. But, I found out about the coming death of America and had to come home and warn everybody, and so, yeah, different people have different little areas that they are allowed to succeed. But it's nationwide, worldwide. The big part of the horse industry, it's rigged, one way or another. You can just have a shoer that sabotages your horse. I mean, it's as simple as that. But considering how far they went to cover up what I went through, it's pretty, it's just, it's a different level of scary.
Yeah.
I mean, these people could murder me, throw me under a bridge. No one would give a shit. Oh, he was so crazy, we had to kill him. I mean, it's like just a sick mentality.
I think that's what they do with everybody. They claim everybody's crazy. They just killed themselves, or something to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
They do that with everybody. That's why I always like to say, well, I'm on here. By the way, even though I'm sick, I am not suicidal or homicidal.
Me neither.
This is what we say.
I did not shoot myself in the back of the head.
Right.
Oh gosh.
If we come up missing, start hunting us. Something's happened.
Oh Lord. Hey, well, you know what I believe? I believe that we are supernaturally protected by God, because what it says, 1,000 shall fall at thy right and 10,000 over here, but it won't come near our dwelling. So, and no weapon formed against us will prosper. So, that's where I'm putting my trust, is in God, because everything else is, sinking sand, Doug?
Well, it's just a viper's nest in the horse community, but especially the ones that come across as the Christian horsemen. I mean, it's very, and I pretty much got the little, this is just a group that's very well connected, and
yeah.
they can
And
do it.
what their common denominator is demons.
Evil.
That's the common denominator.
You're right.
Yes.
100%. Yeah, it's demonic. These people are demonic. Well, it's the MK Ultra program. The ones in the court that got a restraining order on me because she didn't like how I trained her mule was the head of the Air Force for Obama's wife's best friend, Lindsay Cogswell, where they learned my stuff for the English, was Obama's think tank. I mean, there's a sick, twisted, and all of this is linked to one family, one set of people, and a certain element of our cops, police, and even our special forces community that we want to love so much. But obviously they don't do this stuff without help in the military, in the Pentagon and stuff,
Right. I had this thought in the back of my head about the Pentagon. I have always not really thought of the Pentagon as part of our military. I really haven't, because
I think they agree.
They're in so deep with politicians and bad people that I think that they're just like the Satanist temple of the military, right there, Pentagon. I've never thought of them as being military, ever. They say they are, but I think they're the cover-up squad. They're the goons that go in and
Cover-up
clean up
squad.
the mess. Yeah, they're the goons that go in and clean up the mess. Cover-up squad. That's what I call them.
Like Skull and Bones members, if they can't get a job anywhere else, they give them jobs at the CIA.
Yeah, there you go. Oh my gosh.
So
do you have a did you say you had sent a video, Doug?
There was the one, I think the death threat Clinton Anderson might be the best one. I sent a couple, but that's the one where the head of Homeland Security, Michael Chertoff's cousin, this is when I was down the road from Bush's ranch in Crawford, Texas. And it was a special place when it came to the JFK murder. It's the same place where Bush Sr. went when Kennedy got assassinated.
Do you remember? Okay, let me see.
It's one of those. Sorry, like I said, I'm totally unprepared. But at least when people can understand that, the head of FEMA, we're talking on the disaster stuff, was Michael Brown, who ran the American Horse Shows Association. That was for Katrina. We saw what a disaster that was.
I think that some of these, we had them on the last time that you were here. There's one marked here. Death threat, Clinton's.
Yeah, the Clinton Anderson one, if we talk to the gal with the that her cousin was the head of Homeland Security, Michael Chertoff, than we have, but we haven't heard the U.S. Central Command one. And that was just me. I thought explaining it in a decent way, and you can see how it got like higher up, and then just pushed under the carpet and or kind of dismissed. And but it's talking about making an online intelligence operation to try to help Trump not get killed by Iran. Because I think on there should be a copy of a fax letter that I sent in the weeks before the takedown of Iran's nuclear program. So I did the online intel op in the hunt for bin Laden, embedded with one-of-a-kind Trojan viruses, and I just contacted all of Iran's embassies and sent them to that online intel op with all the recordings and stuff.
Is it this one?
And that picture is me in the Synagogue of Jesus.
And that's in Israel, right?
Yeah, that's actually Capernaum. They closed down the holiest place on the planet for me to pray freely. And that's me in the Synagogue of Jesus training horses for Yehud Avni, who is the founding father of Israel. One of the founding fathers.
Do you want me to play this one?
Sure. I think that's the Central Command one.
Yeah, I think so.
That's a pretty cool picture, Doug.
I mean, you can understand the spiritual aspect of it. That's a picture before 9/11.
James Phipps. I served overseas, but I'm a civilian for over a decade in the war on terror.
Credit for Nazi terror,
and I've got a really good idea to use my overseas experience to help.
Now, what are these right here? Are these transcripts?
Right. So the first, oh God, those transcripts, somewhere in them is the them giving me credit for Nazi terror bus Belgium. So that was the people that set up 9/11, saying I turned them in for being Nazis to do with 9/11 before the Nazi 9/11 connection and the Nazi terror bus Belgium. And the one right before that was another picture.
Hang on.
Just because, oh yeah, that's me advertised exactly 1 month before 9/11 with Andy Schneider, the guy that sliced open my passport, asked me to work for Osama bin Laden, and me turning them in, causing my life so much hell.
Well, all right.
So there's some background with those pictures.
I don't think we got there yet. I know you've got one up here with some pictures. Let me see. Where is it? There. This?
No, that's just the program everybody's writing today. That's the Inside Lake program that dominates the planet. And I did see up there a picture of my sliced open passport too. Just so people can see, like, there's credibility to what I'm saying. Oh, that is my passport before. That's Palma de Mallorca, Spain. That was the launch pad of the CIA rendition. That was the CIA base where we come up with all the intel ops, and then I would be the boots on the ground going through Europe in the hunt for the world's most dangerous terrorist. My handler at that time was Heim. That's Slovakia during the Georgian War, where the KGB sat me down and, kind of let me know what our government had planned for us. They verified all the intel I'd been getting before, the dividing our country, releasing diseases. They're going to be living in their setting up their fiefdoms and being really rich while the rest of us are dead on the streets or in prison.
Oh, that's awfully nice of them. Okay, let me go ahead and start this.
But that's as far as the pictures go.
Okay. Hang on. Let me.
Experience to help with Iran and protect our president at the same time.
Give me 1 second, sir. Let me write all your information down.
Yes.
Tell me what this is. What's your idea?
Well, I'd rather not discuss it over the phone, but my name is Douglas James Phipps, Phipps. I am a horse trainer, civilian. That was the closest American to people that set up 9/11. And Al-Qaeda Days Are Pregnant, Nazi Terror Bust Belgium. I had credit for it one time and was bait in the CIA rendition program. My experience is extremely unique. And right now I have all the pieces to do an online, to do an intelligence operation to help us with Iran and to help protect the president also. I've got a fax letter to the Iranian embassies 2 weeks before the Iran nuke program was taken down. I lived in Palma de Mallorca, Spain, launchpad of CIA rendition, hiked in Nixdorf Siemens supercomputers made the virus that took down Iran's nuke program.
Give me 1 second. I'll see who I can make sure.
Well, it'd almost be better if someone, I don't like talking about it on the phone. But I'm in an unusual situation to protect the president at the same time.
Right. And that's why I have to get you over to someone else. For me, I mean, if I just keep it at my level, then it won't go anywhere. But I have to round it up.
So I have to repeat that all again, huh?
Yeah, unfortunately. Sorry.
And what's your name, sir?
Xavier.
Very cool name, very unusual. What does it mean?
It's actually named after a Spanish Jesuit.
Okay.
It dates back to the 17th or 1800s.
Okay. Yeah, I speak 6 languages.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Give me just 1 moment here, and I'll see if I can get you. Okay?
Thank you.
It gets
You
passed
say
on
a
a few
Spanish
times,
Jesuit?
yeah. But it gets passed on a few times and it pretty much goes cold, so.
Oh,
But that's the gist of it. I just thought that explains, that was a pretty easy way to explain to people what I ended up in the middle of. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Because they're talking about Iran. There was a fax letter there, and it's dated weeks before the takedown of Iran's nuclear program, and why I had so much trouble on my homecoming, and Obama and Hillary and them had such put the hurt on me.
So now they basically hired you to do the job you were doing, right? Like send you over there so that you could.
It was like laptop, so it wasn't through the CIA. It was like just different ranches they had set up through shell companies and shell lawyers, right?
Right.
And they would hire me to do clinics, say in Palma de Mallorca, and train there. And then I would go to a clinic in France and Germany and different places, Slovakia or Belgium or Netherlands or, wherever.
Did they have anybody that you were to report back to?
That was Herb. My handler was Herb Geller. He was the big guy for Operation Pegasus and one of the biggest Mossad assets known as Heim.
Oh.
And there's a recording somewhere, I tried to find it, where he said, shut up about that other stuff or else, because,
Is he still alive, Doug?
I haven't heard from him for a decade.
Oh. Where's his home at? In Israel or over there?
Spain, Palma de Mallorca.
Where?
And that's why Joe Jones's wife, and I'm not, I lived in Israel, so I'm not anti-Semitic, but we know that Jeffrey Epstein, that was Mossad stuff. And then my homecoming, Joe Jones's wife, I mean, it's just all kind of eerily, as hard of a hand as they've had on me, and, they're not going to stop. They said everything that everyone would let happen to me, they get to do to my country. and it's happening, you know, right on schedule.
Yeah. They just don't quit, do they? And you would think, I mean, there's a majority of us that know that there's just a lot of dirty stuff going on. And you would think they would be like, oh, a lot of them know. Oh, no, they don't care. They don't care.
If I'm not able to train horses, succeed, and go show horses, you know, people see me on some stud that's been teased, and I look like the village idiot. It don't you could be the greatest. What, Bill Freeman? You could be Bill Freeman and still not be able to get the damn thing shown.
Wow. So, did everything that you went through towards the end there, was it just like some kind of a setup to get you out of there now?
Like to run me away from my little girl as she enters her teenage years. Then the barn owner, you know, he makes his money off that. If she had, like, at the same time all that happened, my ex ran off to California, and the stepdad ended up in the hospital from some weird disease out of nowhere. And they're doing this and throwing me off the place, you know, and then my kid and her brother and sister out of him. How do I say that? Sired by Shane, the stepdad. Same mom, different dad. Is
Step siblings.
you know, right for foster care. That's $3 million in the system. I mean, these people are just wicked, you know. And then they'll go and grab their Bible and say, "Hallelujah, Jesus, you're just crazy." When you don't see someone's stallion, you know, I get this. Something good happens and plot. So I wondered why the only outside horse I had come to the place got hurt the next day. The stud was getting teased. All the clients that showed up got a weird feeling. The guy's daughter was running the kids away from me, and it was just weird. One of the people from the place in Melba, the stall cleaner, came to that barn just to go to every single barn and run every person away from me she could if she saw my advertisements or something, and people all like responded positive, and these people will private message them and tell them a bunch of shit about me, so they don't even give me a chance. I mean, it was full deal assault. You know, at the same time, he's, you know, mental health, blue sky boarding, blue sky mental health for abused kids, and gets flown all over the country and makes all this money. My kid's going to end up in the system that he makes money from. You know, or the guy next door, Kevin, you know, here's a child lawyer for dad's rights and stuff. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I finally got a chance. But what they did was the opposite. You know, my Mossad training 101. Don't believe anything these people tell you, Doug, especially these people, only what you see. I just wanted it to work so bad. I just wanted to be done with the shit, you know?
Yeah.
How old is your daughter now?
She's 12.
She's still
She's
young.
12, and she's going to be movie star beautiful. I mean, it's scary. This is bad. These are bad people, you know. The Joe Jones guy admitted that the people that got the restraining order on me that wanted to be her parental rights to her custodial since she's been born, and whose whole family's fingers of all this, where Hillary Clinton's Department of State sent me that got a restraining order on me. You know, that Joe's fingers are through all of it, every bit of it. Why he was pretending to be my best friend and organizing me and promoting me for clinics, and he wasn't going to rescue me from, well, you remember Parker's where you sold those babies to, you know, and they kind of subjugated me. And then their brother-in-law, who's Joe's best friend, shows up, and they're helping save me from Parker's, but really they are Parker's father-in-law. I mean, these people have owned me, literally. And the reason Joe showed up is because the recording from Special Agent Rebecca Portland office, she said, what they're doing with you is called trafficking, Doug. They're holding me down so they can make money off my intellectual property. Or one scam after another with Joe. It was more like, then they'll advertise you, and anyone with a lot of money, that's their client. and you're just a stupid stall cleaner. They're just going after everyone they can with money. Just pure demonic greed.
So, have you been to court about your daughter?
No, they've made sure I've had no money and no chance and no way to do it. This is their way of like making sure that I can't help her.
So are you stable? Are you stable now, Doug? I mean, where you're living?
I have a place for my RV and I got one training horse, but I don't have money for food the next 2 weeks, or you know, I got nowhere to train horses out of, because anytime someone's going to let me train out of their barn, this group will get a hold of them. Oh no, stay away, he's crazy. When really what they're saying is, we want his beautiful daughter as a sex toy for us later. I mean, it's these are bad people. It's not okay. You know, they're Hillary Clinton's foster care people. When
I know that's why you
stay
stay there. Is you stay in that area because your daughter's there? Yeah.
Right. That's what I've been fighting for. I mean, with everything I got, but at the very people that got a restraining order on me were sending their foster kids or former foster girls to sleep with me. Same with Debbie Kellogg. And I wouldn't sleep with any of them. And the one came out as a porn star, and Debbie's came out all going in there as nice boys, and coming out of there, they were gangbangers. They were going to be undercover for the feds. They were going to help get these drug dealers. And I mean, these kids are like, all of a sudden they go in as nice kids whose families were targeted and come out of there thinking they're helping the government and undercover federal stuff, and dying of heroin overdoses. And I mean, it's just horrible. They just destroy lives. I mean, they destroyed these kids' lives, you know?
Yeah.
It's ugly. And the horse community, like, okay, so they're doing that to me from the synagogue of Jesus, and they're all riding my intellectual property. I mean, it's pretty, you know, it's like they drank my blood and they're partying with it. Jesus isn't happy with America, because there's so few people that'll stand up and do what's right. As far as like, I just want to be able to work somewhere, have 5 or 10 training horses, get rights to my daughter, give her a way out of where she's at. You know, she's been like, well, if you want to know her, you'll be a bitch, or you can go somewhere else and make money, but then I don't get to know her or protect her. You know what I mean?
Do they allow you to even see her?
Most Sundays.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
most
good.
Sundays.
That's why he stays where he's at, Brenda, because he can see his daughter. You know.
Yeah, now she loves me and is like, my dad's good, you know, but I'm not in a position to help her or save her or have any money to help anything, you know. And
I bet a lot of kids wish they had a father like you, Doug. You know that.
Well,
you know,
and that's where this country is kind of screwed up, because you got people that can't afford to have kids, and they still have them, and they're getting help. So here you are, you want her. A lot of these people don't want their kids.
And I have a skill. I've got $1 million skill. The run for $1 million. One horse show wins $1 million. That's my stuff. Those are my millions of dollars that would help my child, my life. They've been satanically raping from me or drinking my blood of information. And I mean, these people are sick in the head. What they did for their fame is just evil, you know? That's that Thomas Toole, T. John Ranch. Thomas Toole's the main supporter of Barack Obama, you know? And this is the biggest names in the horse industry today.
And here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing is, you know, our politicians that are knee deep in this crap.
Well, you saw the letters, right? The politicians named in there was Senator Ron Wyden, Patty Murray, Earl Blumenauer from Oregon. If you read those documents, those are actually them and Hillary Clinton, and the other recording from Dan Andrews, Hillary Clinton's Department of State. That's whose hands. That's why I say that Joe guy, that's some that's some bad stuff, man.
Well, they
That's
are
not okay what
still,
they did to me.
even though they're knee deep in it, they're still the low people on the totem pole, because this stuff is higher than even they are.
Well,
Yeah.
the head of the Air Force for Obama, best friend, I would say he's pretty up there, or the Heather's son, that's the head of Air Force One, or Lindsey Cogswell's husband being the think tank for Obama. I mean, it's closer to the top than, you know, Joe's thing is his wife worked under the White House. I'm assuming for Hillary Clinton. I don't know that part. But sure would seem to be, considering those are the hands I've been in since I've been home, you know. I mean, I got the Obama indictment because I helped take down Iran's nuclear program. I found out that they were trying to force me to do a false flag and shoot people, and that's in the CIA recordings and Baker City dispatch logs. I mean, it's documented. It's right in the police dispatch. If you're a detective watching, Baker City, Oregon police dispatch logs where the CIA called and told the police to stand down as they did horrible crimes against me and my family, and were then offering me weapons and trying to get me to build burn a country down fire starter. One of my, I invented for the CIA. It's just they're just wicked, you know. The shootings were, a lot of them were MK Ultra false flag. The burning the West Coast down, they tried to force me to do that. I'm like, hell no. It's just all just so much. It's unbelievable, but it's true. Our country is not ran the way people think. There is a country within the country and an absolute black area where there is no law, none. And the police, if these people turn and look at you in the wrong way, like so Joe's wife, that just strikes me as completely, Hillary Clinton stuff, 100%.
I think she's just there to hold him up and remind him which way he's supposed to walk on and off the stage. Norma says, where do these people get off or get the right to keep your child from you when they are the ones that are doing the harm? Well,
because that's how our government, the CIA works behind the scenes. I've been owned. You can only call me being what I've been through since I've been home as being owned. People knowing the truth, but not letting no one else do it. And, oh, you can stay here and here's your little money, but you got to ride those horses in front of that video camera, that webcam.
How long have you been home?
13 years, 12, 13 years.
Wow.
More than 12, because my daughter, 13, 14 now. I mean, it's been ugly. Oh, and I'm sorry, I was saying on why I got the Obama indictment is because I caught them orchestrating the shootings. I caught them orchestrating the burning the country down. And I helped take down Iran's nuclear program. And I had a big problem with this, the foster. It's a common thing, these foster moms and little girls being abused and through the horse industry. And it's a common, They were constantly sending little girls my direction. I'm like, no, thank you. Go out to pasture. Come back when you're old enough is what they would say in Germany. But, not my cup of tea.
Right. I like my tea a little bit older and a little bit frostier.
Well, like Bernie Justo's family, that's the one. Did we do the recording last time of them threatening to break my kneecaps? Remember that one?
Yes.
That's Bernie Justo, who's was the bodyguard for Neil Goldschmidt and the pedophile governor rings. Well, his sister and brother-in-law, they're swingers. They're like got this coffee shop and all these hot chicks. They bring them there to party and swap. And, they have no problem if it's 16, 17, 16, 15-year-old little girls. They have no There's no safety measures. And the horse shows are ripe with them.
Right.
And the horse bones. I mean, the last guy was trying to sleep with he had that barn, and every woman there he was trying to bed and sleep with, and this and that. And, you know, or he gets his boat, and here's like his daughter, who was 13, 14, dressed like a little hoe, excuse me, like not okay. You don't let a little girl dress like that, in my opinion. And the way he was so sexual with all these women and stuff, it was, you know, just point blank disturbing. You get a boat, and here's 7 of all her friends, all in their little string bikinis, going on a boat with the Mr. Mental Health guy. I mean, it's, you know, all you get is how they like their sexual pleasure. You know, women are just for that. Doesn't seem to be for anything else. That guy definitely had relationship issues where he needed a woman. I guess we all do. Some are just a little more forceful about it. I don't know.
Yeah. Susie, can you take over for a minute? Sounds like somebody backed into my car.
Okay. Oh.
Now, are you following what I'm saying, or am I?
Yeah. I'm just listening to you, Doug. But yeah, you know, I was thinking about what you were saying about it. You know, you're going overseas and all the work you did, and then the horse industry, and you've seen a lot of stuff within those people, because a lot of people, you know, a lot of horse people are really good people. You know what I mean? So it's probably pretty shocking to them to hear how bad. You know, it's just like the story of when a lot of people who go to church and then they find out certain pastors, say like TD Jakes or somebody like that, is homosexual and having affairs with all these men, and they're shocked, you know, because these people put their trust in these certain, you know, personalities. And so when someone comes out like you or and says, hey, this is what's going on, it's probably very shocking and a lot of people, it's hard for them to comprehend that this stuff is really going on, Doug. You know what I mean?
Well, and
But
when
it
there's a
is.
full mill deal of them like, oh no, don't listen to them, blah blah blah, by the very people that make money off what I'm being put through, you know, at some point, I think it's a really bad karma for our country. I think something is really bad. But there are a lot of really good people out there, and some are afraid to help, and some, you know, they just shrug it off and think, oh, he's crazy or whatever, or some are just bullied. You know, they're on the bench, and then they get, you know, they get these people sending them messages. Oh no, he did this. Oh no, I mean, just bullshit. I think the very last place I was at, I think it was the girl that he brought there. That's the one that really hurt Virgil, the horse I was supposed to have for the Run for a Million. You know, I thought, well, maybe it was this or maybe it was that. I think it was that girl that hurt him, because she was trying to send people messages. He hurt my horse. I ride horses for Jesus. I mean, literally, I take it serious. I walk in that round bend and I enter the kingdom of God when I go near that horse. Every way I can. I have kept pure to it, absolutely pure to it. I haven't gotten evil. I haven't gotten mean or spiteful. I've been very. But I did kick that little stud's ass some today, because, you know, I get tired of him looking all the time.
Yeah, sometimes those stallions, you got to get a little strong with them, because, you know, they get a little bit, like, they kind of get out of their mind a little bit and get a little crazy when they get, you know, get into that looking for mare stuff, you know. Some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's
he
like a
was like
dog, you know.
a half wild teasing stallion when I started. I brought him out of it, and then they directly kept turning one mare kept getting loose every night, ending up near his bed.
Great.
And then directly I asked the guy, no matter what, don't put your mares there. As soon as I did that clinic and had a beautiful response and people, yay, Doug, woo woo, boom. Yeah, I come back from that and he's got mares and heat right next to the stud. And if I say anything about it, I got to leave. I mean, you can't tell me that wasn't with some kind of intent, you know.
Well, I can tell you what. I showed
And these are the
a
people
stallion.
pretending to be my best friends.
I showed a stallion for years, Doug, at the cuttings, and literally, I could not. I could not breed him while during that season and show him at the same time because he just acted plumb stupid. Okay,
Yep.
and it's just he couldn't help himself because that's all he was thinking about was looking at the mares and yeah.
They're not so different. All male species. They're not so different from most men.
It's God's fault. Not enough blood.
The
blood feeds the brain.
That's what happens when you go to a club and there's a whole bunch of men there and women are outnumbered. It's like a whole ring full of cockfights because it's like they really don't act much different. It's something.
Yeah, for the younger generation, it's the men that better be scared. What?
I said no pun intended, but
right. Sure.
Oh my God!
Did someone back into your car or what? Is your car okay?
I think the neighbor's car is falling apart and she's dragging it, but somebody's out there shooting now. Good God! I'm telling you.
You're She lives in the hood, Doug. I mean, I think
my neighborhood's throwing crap in a handbasket.
Yeah. And then she lives behind a military base, and then we have Penny Bradley come on. Next thing you know, a 3-letter agency's 2 men in black come knocking on her door, and I mean, you're just in the wrong place, Brenda. Like Doug is in the wrong place. You can ever get, where your daughter and you can get out of there, and that would be the best thing, Doug.
It would, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's what it takes. You just have to move to a better place.
To her. That's I've been fighting to have rights to her, and really with me, I just need 3 or 4 students that do what I say, and all of a sudden they'll be up at the shows and winning, and boom. But like I said, they went and got a restraining order on me. The very ringleader or one of them of this group, where they got caught lying. They didn't show up to court. They got caught lying their butts off. I mean, totally committing perjury. They get a restraining order. So that Joe guy, I go to a horse show, or they'll even try to set me up. He'll call those people, and within 2 hours they'll drive to that horse show, and either if I got to leave or the cops will drag me off in front of everybody. That's how hardcore it's been. That's how secret the big money horse gig really is. I mean, these are bad people, and for these big trainers to turn and look the other way when they know I'm telling the truth, and that's an industry ran by pedophiles. It's just point blank.
I'm going to ask you. They hire you to go there and do this, but yet somebody's got a restraining order on you, and nobody steps up and says, "Well, we told him to come." They don't step up in your behalf.
No, well, they say they're going to, but then at the last second, oh no, sorry, they just set me up. It doesn't matter if it's because it's so top secret. And once you say top secret, people do bullshit stuff, and like right before they cut my wheel off and all of that Robert Hartley said I wasn't allowed at the shows unless I take off my Doug Phipps blog spot, which talked about the MK Ultra program, proved me talking about the Navy SEALs and hunt for Bin Laden years before Navy SEALs got Bin Laden, right? I'm the Tribal Black Ops, Operation Geronimo. I'm talking about it 4 or 5 years before SEAL Team 6 supposedly got Osama Bin Laden. So I'm told to take that off, and then I can go to the shows. Next thing you know, they're cutting my tires off my car and doing all this crap. And I mean, it's full meal deal.
Doug, what got me was that recording that you talked, I think it was one of your, I think family members through marriage or something. And he was visited by, was it by a 3-letter agency? Those two guys. Yeah. And they say, "Oh, can you help us set him up?" And I'm like, oh my God, right there, they're saying, "We're going to set up Doug." And I'm like, set him up. Like, what kind of bullshit evil is that? You
Well,
know?
and that was Department of State. The one he was talking about was Hillary Clinton's Department of State. That's exactly who he was talking about. That's in the Dan Andrews recording. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying that. And people would be like, we're pro-Trump, but what? They're going to do what Hillary Clinton's people are telling them to do? Because they are. You know, push comes to shove. What they're doing is they're right there on Hillary Clinton's team. One guy hated Obama, but he's in court with the head of the Air Force and the people that are Obama's. I mean, we're talking people that would die for Obama. Because all Obama is a representative of our federal agents and our military that got all the money and had all the good luck since 9/11, while the rest of us get to eat crow. You know, they're getting rid of us, and they're the deep state mafia or the new, you know, prison guards. What the KGB told me was, and I got from a gal that worked for the Federal Reserve, Neil. One of the governor of Oregon's assistant, or Tom. Yeah. Anyways, so was that they were going to have their giant ranches and their fiefdoms and make all the money, and everyone else was going to be dead in prison or on the streets. Just look what happened, how they wiped them out with the weather storms. You know, that
That's what
was
he
one of
told
the.
you? That was their goal? Wow.
Oh yeah, that I was told that by Andy Schneider, the guy that helped set up 9/11, Andrea Papani's best friend, German intelligence. I was told that by, oh geez, the last one, by the Federal Reserve lady. I mean, I've been told that by multiple people. I mean,
Wow.
the KGB, when they sat me down, you know, and they said, Doug, if they do this to you, what are they going to do to us? Is
It's
what they
kind of
said.
maybe why you see so much money, billions of dollars being sent for Ukraine fighting, but you don't see that billions of dollars being sent for people in North Carolina, or you know what I mean?
Well, no, because
Florida.
they're wiping
Yeah.
them out, and they're wiping them out, going to take their land, and they're going to move them where they want them to move, or they can just die. It's going to be to the point soon where we're going to be welcoming Chinese and Russian troops in to save us, in the UN to save us from our own damn court system. I'd much rather
I
have
hear
the
that.
alien ship come down than them, but
The who?
the alien ship.
The aliens. Yeah, I heard they're coming too. You know,
That's what I
I
said.
hear there's an armada of ships coming. I'll be here in a couple of weeks or something. You know, that's what I hear.
Yeah.
It
At
sure
this
makes a
point,
lot more sense.
At this
Yeah.
point, I'm going to consider that a vacation move. Be out there with my thumb. Get me off of here.
But you know, a lot of Christians are saying that Jesus is coming. You know,
What?
A lot of Christians are saying they're having, lots of them are having a whole lot more than normal, having dreams that Jesus is returning really soon, and he's not happy. You know,
Well,
he's not happy. Yeah.
yes, the energy I feel from the other side is it's going to kill these people, this society, you know, because people are just allowing it and no one stands up and does what's right. You know?
Well, and then
I'm
the
not
little
even
people
able to
that
ride
try.
horses for God. Why the whole world is riding my intellectual property that God gave me?
And then the little people that try to stand up, they're either deemed crazy or terrorist or, you know, crazy, put in jail, who knows what else. Because there are people in this country that want to stand up.
Yeah.
And some of them are trying. And what's happening to them? They're getting knocked down. They're getting their stuff's happening to their platforms. They're getting, you know, put in jail. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous. But we are getting ready to take that break. Don't go anywhere,
5 minutes.
Doug. We're not leaving.
5 minute break.
Yeah.
How many minutes?
5 minute break.
5
so
minutes.
You run to the bathroom, get something to drink, you know.
Yeah, I need to get another bottle of water.
Grab a bite to eat real quick or something.
I so don't feel good. My wheelchair doesn't feel good. It's moving like really slow or something tonight. I don't know what's going on.
It's probably because your arm is moving slow. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So, okay, guys, we will be back in 5 minutes. So don't go anywhere. Oh, I was gonna say, where did Doug go? There he is. What happened to Doug? Oh my goodness. I am freezing.
So our country's in a disaster, right?
It is. It is.
It is.
It is. Yeah. It is better to go find a donation place for North Carolina and all of them, and buy warm clothing and blankets and stuff. Norma, you're correct, because sending money, some of the money is disappearing. Go figure.
No.
Go figure. I mean,
right.
Gee, I would have never thought that anybody could be that corrupt to take people's money when they're donating for a good cause. I kind of wonder where Dolly Parton's $2 million is going to go.
Right.
If I was her, I'd have taken it right to the mountain herself.
I think a lot of her people are from, Tennessee? Is that right? That area?
We're raised Tennessee.
Right.
But, she donated for everybody, for the people for North Carolina and all that too. So.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of her people live in that area, so she's probably.
Yeah. I'm not too crazy about her because there's a few things that I know about her, but she was one of the first ones to step up and say, here, I am donating. She's donating $1 million, and then plus her companies are matching her $1 million. So.
Well, that's something, that's more than the government's doing. No, I'm just
kidding. I know, right?
I have no idea what the government's doing, Interfering. I hear one of the FEMA guys got beat up for trying to stop a guy from getting to his family or something.
Yeah, him and a sheriff, state police officer. So. Yeah, I was like I said, do they not understand this? These are mountain folk up there, okay?
Anybody who has family, and if somebody's trying to keep you from protecting your family, like getting food to them or getting, that's going to make the people who love their family a little crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Anywhere. I mean, those people that love their family they're not going to tolerate that,
Well, and I'm going to tell you, the mountains in Tennessee, they're still, to this day, there is still Manson family people up in that mountain. They don't hardly ever leave. Their stuff is brought to them by helicopter or whatever, because they don't leave their little community. But they decided to help pitch in and help with the people out there in Tennessee. So, and if anybody, FEMA or anybody, thinks that they're going to step in the middle of the Manson family clan that lives out there, well, they're about stupid. I could write them a book about that. Tell them how dumb they actually are. Don't mess with those people. Just leave them alone. So, yeah, it's crazy stuff going on. What do you think, Doug? What do you think about all this madness, crazy stuff?
Yeah, Doug, what do you think about all this crazy stuff? We can't hear you, Doug.
Oh, Doug, we can't hear you.
Uh-oh. He's on silent.
Uh-oh. Go out, come back in, Doug.
Yeah, go. You have to go out and come back in. That does that sometimes, doesn't it? It's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know why that happens. It's so
happened
weird.
To me before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just I have to check out and then come back in, and then because we can't hear you.
Itself. But a lot of us who are in the know, and a lot of us who read.
I think he froze.
And pay attention. Yeah, I think he's trying to come back out and go back in, or go out and come back in. I'll find out, because I'll get two Dougs up here in a minute. Oh, well, there he went. A lot of us who are in the know, and a lot of us who pay attention to the Bible, I think that this is something that it's not a total surprise to all of us. It really isn't, because we
Right.
kind of, they were going to pull some crap, and right
Yeah.
now it's just one of those things where there's a whole bunch of crap being pulled all at the same time.
Right.
So,
Well, and the thing I brought up, which is, it's not a pleasant story, but Roger, he grew up in North Carolina, and his family has a big dairy farm, big horse farm. And the thing he had told me about Asheville was just full of witches and dark, dark magic witches. And my thought was maybe they did something that had backfired on them, and brought some major demonic powers on top of them all. And I mean,
well,
these
unfortunately,
people are messing around with demons that you can't predict.
and unfortunately, but it's not just there. I mean, this is the second time Florida's been smacked. And then, like I said, I seen the video before Florida got hit this last time. That stuff went in and hit, or was it Helena? One of those hit Category 5 in Mexico, in Acapulco, Mexico, and that's a tourist attraction place, and it's tore up.
So can you
Yeah.
guys hear me now?
And Helena is another
Yeah,
name
we
for
can hear you.
Helen, or hell, or Santa Marta, or the spirit of hell who rules over hell. So when you say Helena or Helena is coming, I mean, you're literally saying death is coming. That's what hell is. Helena is death.
So how many states right now? We got Florida, Tennessee. What's the other states?
North
Wyoming,
Carolina.
North Carolina.
Carolina, South Carolina got some.
Mhm.
Florida, Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia.
Yeah. I had talked when I talked
And
to
then
Glenn.
Wyoming's got disasters hitting it up. So you have it up there, and
So we got
I don't know
6
if those
states.
fires.
That's
Huh?
10% of our states are being decimated.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Republican states.
And I think there's more. Isn't there another hurricane coming called Nadine?
I think so. A few people said no, but I don't. There's supposed to be 2 more coming.
Okay.
And I know Nadine was one of them. But
Yeah.
there's supposed to be one that's supposed to come up and go across central Texas and then back through the Carolinas. So
I think that's
the
Nadine.
Carolinas
Yeah.
pretty bad.
I think that maybe that would predict Nadine. I don't. It was a little lagging behind. I don't know. I mean, this last one was a little bit delayed in getting to where it was, but I don't know. It's pretty crazy. And this kind of the wrong time of the year for hurricanes. Isn't that supposed to be in the spring or something?
I think that's and the tornadoes that hit Florida. They had 120 tornado warnings, and there was quite a few of them that tore it up too. So they definitely got a lot of push behind them. Jason, we're not really talking about, I mean, we are talking about crazy weather at this point, but we're talking with Doug about just dirty business with the CIA, Clinton's, Obama, all that stuff. So yeah, and yes, you're late. You were late last time too. So are you late on your dates too, Jason? Just curious. Just curious.
We're going from personal attacks to whole attacks on communities, right, Doug? You were saying, there's so much attack personally coming from people that are in high positions, huh, Doug?
Well, and they do symbology, so it became pretty much a pattern. They'd crush me, there'd be a shooting. They'd crush me, and there'd be a fire. I mean, it was like just, like they've used me as some kind of whipping stone. They'll like put the hurt to me, and I'm like, oh, they're about to do something bad. It's can't even.
Like you were like the precursor before. Like if you saw it happen to you, then you knew something big was going to happen to a whole lot of people. Like it just kind of like a mirror, like a mirror.
Like a fire set on the road right next to the barn I'm at. totally like nice little fire, and they do this crap to me in court, knowing that they were trying to get me to make the floating fire starter, and that's a lighter than air thing that goes across the country, dripping something like a napalm type thing, and it burns a whole country down. That was one of my inventions for the CIA. So, like, there'd be a fire, and then boom, all the big fires started. I mean, it was just like blatant that, you know, they'd squish me, and then the bad stuff would happen. And I don't know what ritual abuse that is, but they definitely, I don't see them stop it. I don't.
So,
Right.
do you think that that's something that they may have used in Hawaii?
What?
No, I think they use the you know, the laser things, the directed energy weapons.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so
that's
too.
what I thought.
Yeah,
Then when you
I
mentioned
think
that,
they
I
just
was like, wait a minute.
with the MK Ultra program, it's a list. That was Herb Geller, my Mossad handler. So you don't want to be on the list, Doug. The list is anyone that's on their list or targeted. They just squeeze them all at the exact same time and try to get them to pop and react and do something. It's an
See, a lot
actual
of people,
list.
a lot
A
of people
lot
don't
of people.
know, Doug and Brenda. Back in 2014, the United States has a weapon called the Dreadnought, and it's a big ship. It's like a big flying ship, like a kind of like a Goodyear blimp or something, sort of like that. And it carries the laser technology that was used, and it was in the news in Ukraine. That was used on the Ukrainian people in Crimea back in 2014 when they found what it was is they found a bunch of pyramids with artifacts, and so it was Israel and United States funded under Soros, went in there, and they used this dreadnought laser technology and melted a bunch of tanks that Putin had, and this is what started the war in 2014. So this is since 2014 till now. That's why there's been a civil war in the Ukraine between the Russian people and the government. And then at that point, they threw out the president of Ukraine. He ran to Russia to be protected by Russia, and they put in the Zuzinski guy or whatever, took in. So he was an actor from, put in, like.
Zelensky.
Huh?
Yeah. Zelensky.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was an actor.
Zelensky.
He's
Yes.
still an actor.
So you guys,
Yes.
have you paid attention to like Slovakia, to the president of Slovakia about being assassinated, to now him saying that Belgium's needs to be bombed, the European Union? He's so anti the West. They again, that's just somebody that knows my true story. You know, I mean, there's been our country's lost a lot of extreme faiths over this, because to the rest of the world, this is just the super elite and their little, what do you want to call them? Their horde of demons, basically, is what it is. And they're all just playing the game so they can get their money as much as they can and F anyone else and not having any morals whatsoever. And that's our intelligence apparatus. That is our deep state, our cops, our sheriffs, our judges. I mean, all the way up, all the way down, our military. I mean, we're like lost, you know.
Well,
and we're sitting at World War III, and our own allies are going to want to kill us.
And these, here it is. Are they really happy with all that money? No, they're not. They're not. You know what? If everybody was on a level playing field, and we were all happy, I think they would be happy. But I think that they enjoy misery. I think that they enjoy the demonizing that they do. I think that they wouldn't even know how to crack a smile and be happy on this planet ever. It might break their face. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Oh, Brett just said NATO has a base on Mount Hermon. Yes, they do. The UN has its building right there at the top of Mount Hermon. I mean, ready for the Battle of Armageddon.
Is there any way that that mountain can have a volcano and just kind of erupt all over?
Well, Mount Hermon, if you know if you know biblical story, Mount Hermon is where Enoch talks about. That's where the
Watchers
fallen angels came down, and pretty much took over the planet, from Mount Hermon. So it would make sense why UN has their building right there, because they're taking over the world, right?
Well, I wondered, had a funny thought. I mean, it's a little out there, but where because you talked about in Ukraine and the pyramids, and we'd already broached about my talk with the guy while Miley was across the way, giving me the look, that it went back to the creation of mankind, and is what I was told on the CIA airplane, why they did 9/11. And you think of them going into Iran and getting all those artifacts and the tomb of the Tell of Gilgamesh. What wasn't it, the tomb of Gilgamesh they got, and all of that stuff, all that.
Right.
That maybe they use these hurricanes and storms. Just an idea. I know it's crazy. Just throwing it out there. Not saying it's a fact. When I say it's a fact, it's different. But wonder if they're trying to wash away and expose some of these ancient sites. Just was throwing it out there.
Well,
something.
I think we got to talking last night.
They're all over the world.
Yeah. I think last night, wasn't it last night we were with Penny, where we talking about all the corrupt and evil things, like the MK Ultra way before, years ago, like in the 1940s. It was called something else.
Yeah.
They've been doing all of this stuff for so long. They've been doing all their evil. They've been snatching up kids. They've been brainwashing these people. They've been doing so much stuff. And they've done this for so many decades. I don't even think that if they wanted to straighten up and go right and stop doing what they're doing, that they would even know how. So the artifacts and stuff that they find, they just get so corrupt to the point where they don't want anybody knowing the real truth about anything. Grand Canyon, for example.
Yeah.
Part of the Grand Canyon is that's federal land.
They're saying that they found evidence to show this was Chinese inhabited prior to what we were here, that the Chinese were actually here.
And
that's
the
within the Grand Canyon.
The American Indians are supposed to be related to the Chinese. And that's why so much of what I went through on the tribal thing was Obama's people that wanted to see America dead. I mean, these people they're just
they don't like it here. They
don't like us. They don't like us.
They don't like America. They don't like us. I'm going to tell you where my first problem was with Obama, and you can find this if you can still find it. But before he was even elected president, they had the debates on the floor, and they always said the Pledge of Allegiance before they did this. And I watched this man on live TV drop his hands, clasp them behind his back, and turn his back to the American flag. Now, how in the ever-loving sakes of God do you appoint a president of the United States when he turns his back on the flag?
Well, Obama was MK Ultra, and they asked me about Obama when I was in Palma de Mallorca. One of the CIA agents looked at me and said, "Doug, do you ever hear about Obama? What do you think about Obama, Doug?" And I was like, "Who the hell's Obama?" So again, it goes straight to the MK Ultra project. My specialty overseas was infiltrating Nazis, to the Nazi Operation Paperclip, them coming here, starting the CIA. It's all 9/11. My Nazi, the guy that was telling me about the coming death of America, Andrea Fapani, Italian Intel, the big superstar, why he's best friends with the German that told me about the coming death of America. So they set 9/11 up. It's all connected. I mean, it's all the Nazi, the same with Iran and stuff. Hitler said that the perfect warrior was the Muslim, because they'd die for you. I mean, it's all literally connected to, in my opinion, you know, all the secret society stuff, Nazi connected to the, you know, hunt for the ancient artifacts and all of it, to, you know, the destruction of America. I mean, they want America dead. They've got a grudge from World War II, and they seem to be winning because nobody's doing anything. And as far as I can tell, even the very people like, you know, they're supposed to be doing something, just twist. It's a carrot and a stick. They offer you the carrot, pretend to be one thing, then they beat the hell out of you with the stick.
Yeah. Yep.
Also, I wanted to say something else about Mount Hermon. At the base of Mount Hermon is Pan's grotto, and Pan was the goat, half human, half goat, right? And Pan, that's also where the temple of Zeus is at, next to the Pan's grotto. Now, Pan's grotto is a cave which is known as the gates of hell. So this is where Jesus took the disciples and told Philip that the gates of hell shall not prevail. And he stood there in front of Pan's grotto and told him that. And that was at the base of Mount Hermon. So I think that's kind of key, because Jesus is saying they're not going to prevail against us. And this is, you know, we're talking about NATO, we're talking about this evil, we're talking about this force, this demonic thing that's taking over this planet, you know, and what's going on, right? And then you have Jesus saying it's not going to prevail, right?
Well, and it is. Hell is empty because they're all here.
Yeah.
I you know what I've always thought to myself, is there really a hell? Are we not actually in it?
There is a lake of fire. Yeah. There. I think it's more of a spiritual place. Yeah.
Well, one of the
it is. It would be physical, but it's real. But yeah, we living in a world that is heaven and hell all together. Like, it's all, and a lot of people experience a lot of hell, and some people experience some heaven. You know, some people are oblivious to all of it. You know.
Well, I think by Satan being allowed to walk this earth and do whatever he please, granted, everybody has a choice. But here's the problem. I don't think that God really planned on the fact that some people are just absolutely in the head. Okay? Because they are sitting here thinking that everything is okay. I mean, these people that are rooting for their 3-year-olds to get a sex change. You know, these people that are doing things to mock God, to mock Jesus, they think that it's normal. But I know that a lot of people that are my age grew up not knowing that stuff, not thinking that stuff was normal, but now they think it's normal. What happened to them? Where did they go? Appear? Float off somewhere into the abyss? Because I've always grown up knowing right from wrong and being able to determine what was right and what was wrong. And some of that stuff that they believe in now was always stuff that we all considered was wrong back then, but they think it's okay now. What changed them? That's what I want to know. Where did they go mentally to think that it was okay? They let their kids walk all over them nowadays, and then don't understand why their teenager will slap them if they don't like what their parents say. Well, I'm sorry. Like I've said before, I'm in my 50s. There ain't no way, if my mother and grandmother were still alive today, that I would talk to them the way that these kids talk to their parents today, because I'd be missing my face. Okay, I'd be beat. You just don't do it.
Well, Satan knows to attack the family.
Yeah, but back when I was younger, you know, we got spankings. We rode in cars with those seat belts. We didn't wear helmets when we rode a scooter or a skateboard. We broke a few bones. You know what? we're okay. We lived and we learned from that. But nowadays, these kids aren't learning anything.
And it depends, Brenda. You know, here's the thing. There's no two,
not the rest of the
no
world.
two people that have lived the same life, unless you're in a duplicate twin and duplicate things happen. But you know, you've got parents today that are Satanists. You got parents today that are very heavy drug users, and you have children growing up in these generational things. So, you know, we're in a pretty messed up world, sharing it with a lot of messed up people. Okay, so I mean, and then these kids are raising kids, or maybe they're not. Maybe they're abandoning kids, and then I mean, you know, we live in a pretty messed up world. You know what I mean?
I will tell you that there is nothing that has ever surprised me more than to know Susie's son. That is one put together okay kid. He's respectful. He is at that age right now where most of these kids are running around and they don't know whether they want to use a bathroom or a litter box. I mean, he's in that age group, and it amazes me of what a good kid he is. Absolutely amazes me.
You want to tell that story about the money?
Oh my
Brenda?
gosh. Yeah, Susie. So Susie gave her son, what was it, $450?
Mm-hmm. 448 exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And he wanted to buy an antique revolver. And nice thing to own. Most people my age would love to have an antique revolver. So they were going to go down and go look at it and go pick it up. And he walks into Susie and he says, "You know what, Mom? I don't need that. Here, you take this money." And gave it right back to her. Now you tell me. You tell me how many people,
20-year-olds, yeah,
20 years old, that are going to give up almost $450 when he games. Okay, he does do that when he's not out there working with the horses and helping feed and doing all the ranch stuff. How many people do you think kids are going to just give that money back to their parents and say, "Here, you have this. Why don't you take this back? You know, you could use it to help with this, or you could use it for that."
Yeah, I didn't ask him for it. I didn't say nothing. He just thought, well, maybe I don't need that. It's just a waste of money. And why don't you just have the money, Mom?
Yeah.
You know.
I mean,
and I'm
incredible.
Like, I have to pinch myself. Is that my son? Oh my God. What 20-year-old gives back $448 just because, you know? And I'm like,
that's why kids need parents that actually care for them.
Yeah.
I am so blessed to have a son like that. So blessed. I can't even, you know.
He's definitely a good kid. He's got his head in the right direction. And but I think a lot of that too, though, is even though he does gaming, he doesn't get out there in the world and hang out with a bunch of people. Look what happened the last time he hung out with some people.
He's been a homeschooler. He's never been in the public schools. Yep. He works really hard. Like today, he was on the skid steer moving, you know, big pine trees and helping me move the cow chute. And I mean, he's always willing to work and do whatever. I mean, he takes care of his pets. He's a good kid. He's real strong. He's good minded. You know, he's a good boy. You know, I'm just very blessed. You know.
Yeah.
Very, very blessed.
You definitely did a good job with him, because, you know, and I know that you guys don't always see eye to eye, but it's small stuff, small potatoes compared to what some of these parents go through with their kids. But the way I'm looking at it is, it's their own faults. My daughter told me with her son.
I don't get to raise my child, so.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know,
I'm lucky to even
know her.
My ex-brother-in-law right now, he's in California. and his baby's mom had a boyfriend because they were split up. And apparently something happened with one of the kids. He hit one of the kids, left a mark on it. So they took the two girls out of the home. Both the girls belonged to my ex-brother-in-law, okay? And took them out of the home, put them in the system. He does get to see them. But he's been fighting for now, I'm going to say, over 2 years. Took on extra jobs to be able to pay attorneys to fight with him to get those kids out of the system and get them to where they can live with him. Now, he's done absolutely nothing to those kids. He works hard, and they are fighting him every step of the way.
Let's talk about the world today. Did you girls watch the movie Leave the World Behind?
Yes.
Because the stuff I was in the middle of, most of it was and my specialty overseas was infiltrating secret societies, getting them to open up and stuff. But so the symbology for me was very clear. They're going to drop our society. They don't even show you what they did to us, you know.
Yeah, I told Brenda about that. She hasn't seen it, Doug, because it was done by Obama. The movie was done by or directed by Obama.
The ending is about them getting the kids. They're going to take the kids, our kids, in their little underground bases and raise them the way they want. Then we'll be a bunch of savages up here, you know, whatever's left in 20 years of Mad Max. They'll be flying through the air like Greek gods, you know, with all the high tech and everything.
I think Susie had a different thought pattern on that. And I think she was correct. And her thought pattern on it was entirely different, to the point where all of these bad people, they were
going to be removed from the planet, Doug. They're going to be removed.
They need, if they're not removed, we're going to be removed. It's to that point, because I think they're so evil that God's going to kill all of us. People aren't doing what's good and right, you know.
Well, it's probably aliens are going to take them, you know. I'm just saying.
Well, they're the ones that are all healthy. They're not sick. They got the best health care. They're eating the best food. Here, get those guys. Look how healthy they are, man. You don't want me.
And you
healthy. There he is. Look at that big guy right there.
Here's what we can do. We can have the aliens beam them all up and take them to another planet somewhere else, and they can all have themselves.
Well, you know, and those guys, you know, it's a long ways through space. You got to have a planet you can stop and get your meat and your lunch meat from, and then continue your journey.
I don't care how long it takes, as long as they just take them. You know, take them to their own planet. You know,
we'll just tell the aliens, if you want the intelligent life form, take them. Get them out of here. We're not smart enough. You don't want any of us.
Yeah.
You just need the people with all the money.
We just want to be left. We just want to live in peace and, you know, get along and, you know.
Right. That's all.
If they all want to kill themselves, let them go to their own little place, you know, planet to do that, you know.
You know, a flower or a plant, it gets to grow and prosper. You know, not be continually chopped down and start again.
Well, from the studying that I've been doing, this is what I have been finding out.
Doesn't it say that the angels will come and they will thresh the wheat and they'll separate the wheat from the tares and they're going to remove the tares? Yeah. That's the wicked ones. Yeah. Well, says that's coming.
I do hope that happens this time, because what I've been studying is those resets that they've been doing. This is what they do every time they do a reset. They do a flood. They do a everything. I mean,
a mud flood.
Yes.
We had that in North Carolina, a mud flood, literally.
Well, we've had it in a couple places. But I think that you know, it's coming up on that time where they're fixing to do another reset. They do it every 100 years, because, well, a lot of times people don't live that old, so we're not around to say, oh no, this has already happened before. Okay, this has happened. They take us because we're that old, and they just put us in nursing homes. People think that we're goofy. I know when I worked in a nursing home, I've had some very interesting conversations with some of the elderly people. Very interesting. We
Well,
had a woman.
they're targeting them also. Just by the way,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because they don't
they're
want the same
really
thing to
targeted.
happen again. They don't want people to speak and tell them what was going on. I had a woman that I used to take care of years and years ago, and this woman was 102 years old and got around better than I did. And she used to tell me, and I didn't believe her. You know, she told me one day the White House wasn't built, or the Capitol wasn't built. That's what it was. The Capitol wasn't built. It was undug. And I was like, what? She said, yeah. She said, the buildings that stand in uh, New York, those buildings have been there forever. She said to find pictures of them, you can find pictures, old pictures of them that were
Now,
put
Brenda,
out before anybody even had power tools.
here's another thought to that. This could be the alternate realities, like the Mandela effect, that she might be remembering, or could simultaneously be happening in our time, that's causing that too. So there's things that aren't normal in this planet that happen, and there's supernatural things that happen that don't fit the normal explanation, and you can't really, so there
Right.
could be a plethora of different things happening here.
I'm sure that they did, Jason. Just Masons have been around for a whole long time. A whole long time. But
from the creation of mankind is what one of the Masons, because the Masons were, they offered me an inn so many times and kept showing me their underground bunkers and stuff when I first came home. And some of them were really good people.
Yeah.
But I met a couple weird
that.
ones and it spooked me. But what'd you say right before that? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say that well, then we skipped a timeline somewhere, Susie, because I don't like this one that we're on, and we need to go find and go jump another one, because
that's what it was. He said that his family had passed down what was going on from the very beginning, and he had that same thing as Miley, and like this weird thing, like my dad before me, and from the very beginning, Doug.
Really?
It just struck that memory.
Yeah.
What do you think? What did he mean by passed down from the very beginning? What very beginning?
Like from the beginning of mankind, they've kept their story, whatever secret they had, they've kept it in their family forever. And he was the people that did this to me. That guy was from the big guy in Department of Defense, and he brought a whole platoon of Army girls, and they would have beat the crap out of these girls that did MK Ultra on me. He was going to get them, the very people I'm complaining about. They were going to beat them, and I stopped them from beating them up. He was actually protecting me. He really was trying to defend my Constitution and stop these people, and I'm the one that stopped the hand of violence.
Yeah, I believe, what people talk about Freemasons, being bad. That's not necessarily true. It's just like saying all Christians are hypocrites, or saying, because when it's like if you join a church, say like Scientology, or you join the Freemasons, you get in there for the right reasons because you want to help your community, you want to do this and that. Of course, as you go further into it, those people that are at the top, they may see your qualities, and then if you're have a tendency toward evil, they'll bring you into a Luciferian type thing. But it's not saying that they're all bad.
Because I met some that were pretty you know, at least came across as hardcore godly. But then I met some that
Right.
were I didn't join because of the others I met. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Well, it is a if you once you
Or
join
like
them, they learn
they're
everything
just kind of
about you.
weird.
I mean, you give up all your information to them,
Well, what a common thing they do is you'll go pee, and they'll all turn around and point their wieners at you when they pee. And I'm like, dude, I don't show people my wiener. Oh, we're all built the same. I'm like, well, I don't know. I was kind of, nope, none of that. And
You
then
just
the
gave
other
me
one
one
was
hell of a visual there,
then
Doug. Thank you.
the
Good
other one was
God.
a cowboy ranch, Joe Sturz's, where the Freemason witch Bonnie McIntyre at the time. And that now that's where I am going to open this a little bit. That is where at one time on one of my devices I had orbs floating over me and the littly wobbly orb and stuff, and that's where I was framed by Obama and warned by the one Freemason guy. You know, there's a black cloud over your head, and then boom, they got me. Um, but they would all drink and stuff and come across as the cowboy womanizers. They run the Pendleton Roundup, blah blah, and they were let's just say I think they were gay. And so I'm like, oh no,
You
no,
think?
no, no, no,
Is that like Brokeback Mountain there? They make the movie Brokeback Mountain after
I
that?
wasn't going drinking with them,
Yeah, don't
you
go out
know.
drinking with them because something will end up in your drink and you won't remember for a few days.
Oh, that would be bad. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be bad. Okay. So
You just got it where you just got to be careful everywhere, everything you do nowadays, guys. You know.
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Well, in Europe, I couldn't even drink from a bottle unless it was a brand new bottle. So that's how cautious I was of stuff.
Yeah.
I
Because
think
that, you know, that was during the oh God, what was it? Where Russia was poisoning spies with plutonium and stuff like that. I mean, I was
Oh.
up in airplanes where I landed in a country when I went to Slovakia, and the entire airport, one of the major, I think like Helsinki, I think maybe Helsinki airport, I'll look on a map, was totally empty. They stopped the whole flights for me to get there, right? Um, and I've been on trains where no one was on the train, where the KGB or the terrorists would come to kill a guy. I mean, I've seen some pretty high level stuff. They stopped all the flights to go to Slovakia. Herb, when I'm like, Herb, I broke down. Boom. Next thing you know, all the flights across the country are stopped. I get a ride from some Bible guy that takes me to the airport, and I ditch my car and I'm like, I'm at the airport. Boom, the flights go back on. I end up at Helsinki, and the whole airport is shut down. No one's like, been on trains. With
That's
had guys
creepy.
show up with the women, the KGB, and say, you pull a shirt out and it's got a target of a guy. You'll run, but you'll just die tired. I mean, I've lived a life. I've risked my life at a pretty cool level to come home to this shit, you know?
Yeah.
And my life got saved so many times, and it had to be an act of God. Like in Slovakia, the loft
Yeah.
I was in caught on fire, and I woke up knowing exactly how to put that fire out. Save my life, save the horses.
Oh wow.
Walk
Well,
down the
It's a
prostitute
barn
street in
fire.
Germany. Yeah,
Oh.
it was in the apartment above the barn.
Ooh.
well, I mean, that's one
I
thing
mean,
that upsets me. All of the people, are veterans, all of that stuff that are in the military that
but
went,
see,
they
I'm not a veteran. I'm not a veteran. That's what's worse with me. I'm a civilian. I get no veteran benefits, and
well, our veterans are hardly getting veterans benefits. Half of them are ending up on the streets
well,
and
that's by
Yeah.
design.
yeah,
Or their families getting killed in what just happened with the man-made hurricanes.
yep.
Because I think I told you what did I tell you any of my CIA ops? Okay, so
Go
here's
ahead
a
and tell
real.
us.
I like this one. You would spray like South America because all the coke was coming from South America. I didn't know that it was the CIA's coke they were selling out of the. Yeah, I kind of figured that out. Sorry, but you go to the big mafia bosses in South America and you spray the clouds with Rohypnol. So that floats down, everyone gets passed out. You do a fake alien invasion, and then you take the big boss and his next big gorilla, and you super glue them together naked, front to back, super glue their mouth closed, and you give them Viagra. So they're sleeping another 10 minutes past everyone else. Everyone's like, where's the boss? Where's the boss? And these two guys are super glued together with the wieners flopping to
Was
their
this your
belly.
plan or something, Doug? Is this what you
And
came up with, or what?
no, that was one of my CIA ops. So they
Oh,
loved my CIA ops. I mean, it was no, that was one of my ideas for a CIA op.
gotcha.
But
Doug.
no, I didn't do that with no.
It was one
I
of your
better watch it.
ideas.
Yeah,
Okay.
an example. Or in Palma de Mallorca, they had the guy Jurgen Kalazinski showed up on the island with one of the heads of the Guardia Civil before the guy had any money to become the head of the Guardia Civil. And the guy that owned this street disco had 4 million D-marks on his place, and he ended up murdered. And some of the money found, but some of it still not found. So during the America Western Festival, I suggested they open that house up and try to rent it out, the finca it's called, and see if they could get him there. But then, like, have holograms of the woman that was murdered, or it was always the Guardians of the world's intelligence agencies loved my ideas because they were just their own power against them. Meaning somebody goes in that house and they get a little LSD, and all of a sudden there's some woman that they'd murdered on, flying across the room, and, they poop themselves.
Wow.
Sorry.
Oh,
Maybe
no,
that wasn't as fun as I remember it was.
I don't know. That other idea was kind of,
Poetic justice. If they're raping women, damn rights they can be super glued together front to back with Viagra and their mouths closed. So the harder they fight to get away, the more they look. They'll never be a mafia boss again.
I was going to ask you, do you know a lot of women that have been, pissed off because that whole super glue thing sounds like a really angry wives club.
The wives club.
The angry wives club.
I've never tried it. I don't know. I came up with the ideas, like,
oh Lord.
So the false flag they try to get me to do, the spark.
I guess that beats, having to kill people. I mean, just super glue them together,
Well, right. After the Viagra, and don't make sure and super glue their mouth closed, so the harder they fight to get away, the worse it looks.
Oh Lord.
We've got people in the chat with suggestions. Mike, you know what, Susie, our chat never lets us down. Jason said that sounds like a stunt from Jackass.
And we got a Q17.
Wow.
No, but the false flag they tried to get me to do was you combine some of my inventions. So, those cards that are 3D, you look on one side, then the other side, and you see different pictures.
Yes.
Right? So you got a A-frame sniper's vest. On one side, you see the other side by webcam. From top, you see the ground with a cooling system in. You put it on a hill, right? With one line, the main line in a town. And then you put the spark, or a watch batteries, wireless receiver, and a electronic ignition. You put it in enemies' gas tanks. You do the floating, you take the power lines out. That's really simple. You know, a chainsaw or wire and a couple helium balloons, or throw a rock from anyways, you can sort those out
I
pretty
think
easy.
it need to make a show called Doug's Home Alone or something.
Well, wait, so this is the false flag they tried to force me to do. This is what they knew I could do when the CIA already had this when I came home. So as they were like killing my dad and doing this to my kid, they were hoping you you take the electricity out, you put the floating fire starter over, the town starts burning, right? The cars all the way through the town, you put the signals on, you're working at the gas station, putting those in, because I can't train horse, I'll just put them in the gas tanks. The cars are blowing up all over town, one way in and out of town for the first responders, and you're sitting on a hill with snipers that's taking them out. It's like an army of one. That was 100% my idea. I invented for the CIA and special forces. I didn't do it, but they thought by hurting me, you could see that would be pretty devastating, and it would work. Did I leave you guys?
They've tried some certain things like that before, but somehow they get knocked down. There are a few good people still left on this planet.
We just need them to be in our law enforcement. But
yeah,
those
need them to be the good guys in the good positions.
I'm gonna tell you that really wouldn't work either, because where, just like everything else, where the corruption is at the top. So unfortunately, your lower people in law enforcement, and there are a lot of good ones, okay? Yeah. But unfortunately, they get asked out or what have you, because when you go against your higher ups, you take the risk of losing your job. You know, well, I mean, it's what happens, and a lot of people walk away.
So I outed Mount Hood Center, Boring, Oregon. So after they had me on the res and squished me out, the one door that opened, that's how it always is, with Dean Al-Jadawi, Mount Hood Center, Boring, Oregon. He was some rich guy from Jordan, Jordanian ambassador that bought this big stables where I grew up. And so, boom, that was the only place I could go. That was where I was being offered Netflix movie deals and books from Obama and etc. But Dean was the ambassador to Jordan, very anti-Israel, where I got the intelligence of the attack that happened to Israel. There's proof that I posted about it a couple years ago. There's going to be an EMP attack, and they're going to run over Israel, kill every man, woman, and child. Where am I going with this? But Dean was the exact name, exact age as a guy that was released by Guantanamo Bay for being in charge of security for Osama bin Laden and given a buttload of money. Same age, same place of birth, same height, same everything. Al-Jadawi is a very special name. We're talking like way back again to the nearly like his family stayed tight for thousands of years. You know, they hate the Jews. So once I outed him, he owns Mount Hood Stables. He was the first one to say I wasn't allowed to be at a place publicly to let people see me ride. The head of Homeland Security outed that Obama released those guys and gave them all that money and put some of the names up there. And then I outed Dean. Once I outed Dean, within a week, the head of the Homeland Security guy was found in California, shot in the back of the head, ruled a suicide. So yeah, there are people that have came forward and tried to help substantiate what I'm saying, and that did happen. Sorry. Not to scare anyone off that wants to help me, because I really need some horses right now. But I need a place I can just prosper, you know?
Right. It doesn't sound like your area has very many of those, but your daughter's there, and we're gonna keep praying for you, Doug, and you and your daughter, you know.
Yep. Yeah. And we are, actually out of time. So, Doug, do you want to tell everybody where they could find you, where they can help you, if they can?
Well, yeah, I'm available for training, lesson cells. My program dominates the planet. A lot of people have learned it from Clinton Anderson, but with all the good God love energy ripped out of it and dumbed down for beginners. My number is 503-660-9869, and I really need the work. And I'm an exceptional horseman, reining horses especially. Thank you, girls. Was that okay, or did I go off the rails too
Yeah,
much?
and you could do. Doug could do clinics, and you could fly him in, and he could put on clinics for, anywhere, and you have videos and stuff, don't you, Doug?
Yeah,
on your
my
Facebook
YouTube.
and yeah,
Facebook and YouTube.
Yep.
Right.
Well, thank you so much, Doug, for coming on.
And we'll definitely be lifting you up in prayer, Doug, you and your daughter, and for your safety, and for, God to bless you, because you've been through some really horrific, hard stuff here trying to raise your daughter.
They told me everything that they can do to me, they're going to do to my country. And so far, that's about the only thing they said that they've done. So, can we pray?
Yes.
Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name. May your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. I uplift these two wonderful women, and may your grace let their voices be heard, and may more voices come forward and give people the hearts and the courage and the stamina to stand up and do what's good and right, and fight your good battles and your righteous battles, and do goodness and righteousness for everything that swims, flies, crawls across the land. Protect us so we can protect our children, and let us raise a generation of children that are proud of you, and that you are proud of, and they are proud of you. In Jesus' name, additions and to health and life. Amen.
Yes.
Oh, beautiful, Doug. Beautiful. Beautiful prayer.
I'm not
Thank
sure,
you.
guys, if I'm going to have a show tomorrow night. I am feeling a bit under the weather. I haven't gotten much rest. And Susie's got a lot to do tomorrow. I will find out. Just watch for the notifications. And I'm trying to scoop one up for Sunday. So,
it's still iffy right now. It's still iffy.
Yeah,
You'll know tomorrow sometime.
I'm still trying to do these add-on shows so that we're doing more shows a week. And right now, with the things that are going on, a lot of the people are helping. A lot of people are affected. So it's been kind of rough. But we are going to get out of here for now. I should have something coming up this weekend still. But until then, we will see you guys later. And please be kind to one another. Have a good night,
everybody.
Goodbye for now, from Beyond the Box.
Please join us again for Beyond the Box, Friday and Saturday evenings, from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern. Join us for more intel bombs from our extraordinary guests.
Good night, Putin. Good night, Tucker.